We're backstage with the one and only Ana Garcia from AT&T. According to her Twitter, she is wife, mom, and boss, and the national president of Hacemos. Tell us a little bit about Hacemos.
Absolutely. Hacemos is the Hispanic Latino Employee Resource Group at AT&T. We're a little bit different from traditional ERGs in that we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and we have three pillars that we work within, which is our community, our members, and we align it with our corporate values.
Love it. What projects do you have going right now that are helping the Latino community?
We have several projects. One that I'm most proud of is our Hacemos Emerging Latina Leadership Program. And it's a program that we launched last year on our leadership from our EVP of Professional Development, Martha Aldaco, and I would be remiss to not mention her because she was very passionate about this program. And we developed it based on feedback from senior leadership, not only within AT&T, but externally as well, and made sure that the program addressed the gaps that were mentioned when we had these conversations. I'm happy to report that from the 25 participants, 9 have attained roles that they did not dream possible prior to the program.
Love it.
In addition to a lot of other perks that they feel like they gained from their programming. We also have our National Latino Talks, which is a monthly conversation based on the lives of being Latino in the corporate environment, but also being Latino and LGBT, being Latino and female versus being Latino and male, being Latino and different roles or non-traditional jobs even, so we have these conversations, and I would tell you some of them have brought us to tears because they're very candid.
Yeah, love it.
They're very open, and it's just to show we are all, as a human race, a lot more similar than we are different. And some of those conversations, when we read the messages from the attendees, it's, oh wow, I relate to that, or this is me, or this is us. And that's kind of what the point is, to show that Latinos are just like everyone else.
I love it.
A little different, but like everyone else.
How long has AT&T been involved with Unidos US?
AT&T has been involved with Unidos since NCLR days, so forever I would say, right?
Yeah.
Close to.
And why do you think it's important that we live stream this out?
I believe it's important because it does give our community a sense of belonging, a sense of knowing, hey, we're not alone. We are literally Unidos US. We are trying to do things that empower others, educate others, and the only way to really put that out there to everyone, not just the people that have access to the conference, is this way, by doing it live. And I will share a little bit. I grew up in a very, not sad to admit or anything, in a very whitewashed world. So I didn't know about a lot of these things. And being involved in them and everything does give you a sense of empowerment and knowledge of what's going on out there that's helping all of us as a community.
Love it. Thank you for joining us today, Ana.
Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great day.
The 2022 Unidos US National Affiliate Luncheon will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Our program will begin promptly in 1 minute. Please take your seats. The National Affiliate Luncheon will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Our program will begin promptly in 1 minute. Please take your seats. A reminder to silence your cell phones. Thank you.
50 years of progress, action, impact. For 50 years, Unidos US has brought change and opportunity to millions of Latino families. We're determined to continue uplifting and empowering the Latino community by defining the Latino narrative, scaling our programs for maximum impact, and developing the leaders who will carry us forward into the 21st century. But we can't do it without you. So ask yourself, how will you build your legacy? Your investment powers possibility and reaches millions of Latinos through innovative programs, effective and inclusive public policies, and community-based strategies that change lives. A stronger America and a brighter tomorrow starts today, and it starts with you.
Six weeks ago, our country and our community suffered yet another despicable act of mass gun violence in Uvalde, Texas, just 90 miles from where we are today. What made this horrific incident so unspeakable is that the victims were 19 children, all under the age of 11. They and their two teachers were murdered in their classroom on one of the last days of the school year. 3 weeks ago, I visited Uvalde and met with some of the families and the staff at our Unidos US affiliates who are in the area and are helping families cope with the aftermath of this devastating crime. What struck me first is that Uvalde is a small town, just 15,000 people. It's a community that is more than tight-knit. It's where everyone has a personal connection to this tragedy. Some are relatives, others friends and colleagues, and some of the women I met with had known many of the victims their whole lives. They taught and cared for them as babies and toddlers in a Head Start program. Their unbearable pain and sorrow were palpable, but so was their determination to help in any way they could. That grief and determination was evident when I asked our team at Avance if they had anyone who might be willing to go with me to Robb Elementary School to see the memorial. A family advocate named Janie said she would take me. While we were on our way, she told me that this would actually be her first time seeing the school since the shooting. She had lost a niece and a cousin and was still dealing with her grief. I asked her if she was really okay with taking me, and she said softly but resolutely, "It's time." What struck me was that Janie and all the others I met, and they were all mostly women, were carrying the weight and responsibility of caring for their community in the wake of the shooting. I wondered who was taking care of them. Not one had yet sought mental health support and care for themselves. What has happened to Uvalde is not over. It's just the beginning. It will take years for that community to recover. just as it will take years in other communities such as Buffalo, El Paso, Highland Park, and 100 others. Far too many for me to mention here. We've seen too many shootings, too many deaths in too many places. It's time for it to end. While we applaud the first gun violence bill in nearly 3 decades passed by Congress and signed into law by the president, we need more, much more. Visiting the walking wounded of Uvalde brought home to me the fact that as a country, we need to recognize the epidemic of gun violence is a public health crisis. The people of Uvalde and other communities need help. Left unaddressed, I fear we are risking that their trauma will be passed on for generations to come. We need to invest in the mental and physical health of these communities. We need to provide the linguistically and culturally competent care and assistance they are not fully receiving now. We need to help them not only recover, but move forward. Uvalde, please know that you are not alone. All of us here and millions more share your pain, your grief, and your anger. You have our pledge to help and our commitment to end gun violence so that no other parent and no other community has to go through the pain and suffering you are living with today. We will keep in our hearts the memory of your beautiful children and 2 courageous teachers whose lives ended far too soon. We stand with Uvalde. Estamos con Uvalde.
Tú eres la tristeza de mis ojos, lloran en silencio por tu amor. Me miro en el espejo y veo en mi rostro el tiempo que he sufrido por tu adiós. Obligo a que te olvide el pensamiento, pues siempre estoy pensando en el ayer. Prefiero estar dormida que despierta, de tanto que me duele que no estés. Como quisiera que tú vivieras, que tus ojitos jamás se hubieran cerrado nunca y estar mirándolos, amor eterno y inolvidable. Tarde o temprano estaré contigo para seguir amándonos. ese recuerdo de Acapulco. Como quisiera que tú vivieras, que tus ojitos jamás se cierran, cerrado nunca y estar mirándonos, amor eterno, inolvidable. Tarde o temprano estaré contigo para seguir amándonos.
And now, please stand. We invite you to offer your support to the Uvalde Strong Survivors Fund through the San Antonio Area Foundation, in partnership with the National Compassion Fund. All contributions will provide financial assistance to the families affected by this tragedy. And now, please stand as we welcome to perform our national anthem, the director of Campanas de America, Maestro Juan Ortiz.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched as the gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our land was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome, bienvenidos to the 2022 Unidos US National Affiliate Luncheon, Siempre Adelante, our quest for Latino equity, featuring Unidos US President and CEO Janet Murguia, San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, US Representative Joaquin Castro, Unidos US Board Chair Luis Granados, and Unidos US Chief Operating Officer Sonia Perez. Awards presentations to Mary Center and the Mexican American Council. Affiliates' 50th anniversary milestone salutes to Centro Cultural de Washington County and El Centro de la Raza. This program is proudly sponsored by Bank of America, Prudential, Target, Toyota, and Walmart. With your host, KENS 5 news anchor, Isis Romero. And now, Unidos US Familia, please welcome Isis Romero.
Hola, mi gente, and thank you. Thank you so much. What a heartfelt rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. Let's offer Maestro Juan Ortiz another round of applause. I'd also like to take a moment to offer my deepest gratitude to the Mariachi Collaborative led by Campanas de America, who joined us today. Many of these talented mariachis gave their healing voices in song to bring comfort to the community of Uvalde. Join me in thanking them and for sharing their talents with us today. It is my honor to welcome you all to the 2022 Unidos US National Affiliate Luncheon right here in San Antonio, Texas. Yes. How wonderful to be with you all in person and to be able to actually see your smiling faces, even though some of your smiles are still behind a mask, right? Well, to begin our program, we want to acknowledge that we assemble today in the city of San Antonio, which is on the traditional ancestral land of the first peoples called the Guahuictacans. We offer our gratitude to the indigenous caretakers of this land and the waters of the San Antonio River, originally called Yanaguana, meaning place of refreshing waters. We pay our respect to the indigenous caretakers of these lands and waters and to their elders who have lived here now, and who will live here in the future. Welcome again, bienvenidos to San Antonio, y'all. It is my favorite city in the world, the Alamo City, the River City, Mission City, Military City, my home, San Antonio. We all love this town so much, we gave it 4 nicknames. For those out-of-towners visiting San Antonio for the first time, may I suggest a night stroll along the world-famous Riverwalk, or check out the amazing light show held at the San Fernando Cathedral. I can assure you, on every street corner in our city, you will find culture, you will find beauty, and you will find history, all intertwined. Enjoy it all. And if you haven't already, download the Unidos US app to keep you up to date with the latest schedule of workshops and receptions. Follow us on social media at We Are Unidos US and use the hashtag UnidosUS22. We have a powerful program for today's luncheon that includes, of course, the traditional and always rousing affiliate roll call that's coming up. We'll also be honoring 2 outstanding affiliates that are commemorating 5 decades of service to their community with the 50th anniversary milestone salute. Very exciting. Yes. And we'll present the 2022 LGBTQ Champion Award to an affiliate that focuses on the well-being of the LGBTQ+ Hispanic community. We'll also present the Helen Rodriguez Trias Health Award. And super exciting, later in the program, we will also welcome Congressman Joaquin Castro and Unidos US President and CEO, Janet Murguia, who will deliver the president's message. This is indeed a power-packed program. So, adelante, let's get going. Yes, it is my distinct honor to introduce our first speaker. Mayor Ron Nirenberg is a forward-thinking public servant who leads our city with compassion and care. His consummate leadership was proven with the onslaught of the pandemic. with clear messaging regarding masks and vaccines while presenting a responsible example, Mayor Ron gave us hope and encouragement. During these past 2 years, his vision for the city of San Antonio was not just survive, but to thrive was realized. Much of this is due to the mayor's vision and ability to bring people and businesses together. Mayor Nirenberg takes bold and powerful stances on behalf of all San Antonians in the name of inclusion. His commitment and efforts to reduce poverty, improve public health, and overcome socioeconomic inequities has made San Antonio a great place to live, raise a family, and have a successful business. Through his efforts and dedication, our city is indeed a city of the future. Please welcome the City of San Antonio's mayor, the Honorable Ron Nirenberg.
Good afternoon. It is an honor to welcome the Unidos Annual Conference back to San Antonio. I can't think of a better place for your annual gathering than San Antonio, a place that births such organizations like MOC, MALDEF, Univision, Southwest Voter, Avance, and now MACRI. San Antonio is the largest Latino majority city in the nation, a city with an important history in our nation's march to justice and equal opportunity, a city that when you leave here, I hope you will remember, is leading compassionately from the front in our collective quest for equity. In addition to being in our beautiful multicultural city, this is the first in-person Unidos conference in 2 years, making the 2022 conference even more special. I don't want to let a moment go by, though, without offering congratulations to Raul Izaguirre. On Thursday morning, as you heard, President Biden awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor, to Raul for his work and his trailblazing efforts as a civil rights leader during his 30 years at the helm of the National Council of La Raza, which is now Unidos US. The award recognized Raul, and therefore this organization, for the decades of important work challenging the many barriers faced by Latinos in this country. A lot of progress has been made in the last several decades, but let's not forget that the forces of regression never rest. Earlier this week, just days removed from the worst migrant tragedy in the history of our country, this immigrant country, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas reminded us of that and said that this state is being invaded. Let's be clear. This cynical refrain, a racist trope, targets our Hispanic and immigrant communities. It's reckless and it's divisive. And we cannot forget the history of the world nor our own. We cannot let bigotry become mainstream again. We need humane policy reforms, not political scapegoats. Many of you may not know this, but the migrant farm worker story is very important in my own household. My wife Erica and I want to make sure that our son Jonah is raised to understand and appreciate what she endured throughout her childhood. The labor, the people that built and sustained this country, America, a confluence of immigrants, a place where a little Mexicana can spend her summers traveling the Midwest to pick strawberries and onions with her family, and then become a senior executive for one of the nation's most successful grocery companies. A place where this Jewish, Catholic, Asian American grad student can marry the love of his life and raise a Latino son in the middle of South Texas. In addition to attacks that spawn hatred and animosity toward our minority communities, our nation is also seeing a rampant increase in voter suppression tactics. Redistricting that packs minority communities in districts designed to dilute their voting strength is the order of the day and has been ratified by the U.S. Supreme Court. The Pew Charitable Research Center concluded that Latinos were undercounted in the 2020 census by 5%, denying them the political clout they deserve and prolonging the chokehold of inequity on American politics. We live in troubling times, and this organization's work is as important and necessary as it was in 1968, when the Southwest Council of RASA first emerged. In San Antonio, we walk hand in hand with Unidos US and share your vision for a more equitable, more just, more compassionate society. This is our quest. This is America's quest. San Antonio has struggled with socioeconomic segregation, a horrific symptom of decades of neglect that has disproportionately affected our Latino communities and created blatant race-based disparity in housing and in economic opportunity. But we see hope. We're working to change that. And I look forward to more complete communities and cities that celebrate diversity and unify our unique cultures. But today, we're still coping with the unjust results of racist policies of the past that continue to disproportionately hold back Latinos and other communities of color. We are striving to overcome the barriers created by generations of redlining and other tactics that left too many people behind and neighbors lacking the same caliber of services and infrastructure enjoyed in other parts of the city. To combat redlining, you have to keep folks housed, which has proven to be a difficult challenge for America's mayors this pandemic. When I was first elected mayor in 2017, I formed a task force with a singular mission: to develop, with community, a comprehensive and compassionate housing policy so that all San Antonians, regardless of income, can live with dignity. I'm incredibly proud of that work, and it's vital in any year, but it was particularly important in providing the platform for our community's lifeline during the pandemic, a COVID-19 emergency housing assistance program which has helped over 50,000 households pay their rent, mortgage, and utility bills and not end up on the streets. And for the first time in San Antonio's history, we sent a housing bond to voters this spring that prioritized rehabilitation and preservation of existing housing stock for both renters and owners, along with permanent supportive housing for our homeless residents. Voters approved that measure with over 60% support. Many of you, it's a testament to our community. Many of you likely saw the photo, the aerial photo, you can see it in your mind, of San Antonio's food lines during the pandemic, which highlighted the inequities faced by our neighbors during the worst health and economic disaster this nation has endured. That's also the story of America, a place where, despite some of the best economic times in a generation, tens of thousands of San Antonio families, millions of American families, were one event away from the brink, one event away from needing our food banks to feed their children. The COVID-19 pandemic became that event. It was clear to us then, so clear, and it's still what keeps me up at night. It is our collective challenge moving forward. We cannot forget those images. We can't go back to the way things were. I believe in my city, as I'm sure you do, and I believe in my residents. But in San Antonio's case, I firmly believed that the inequities did not appear overnight and didn't happen on their own. We had not provided our people enough opportunities to thrive in their own homes. So in the summer of 2020, we rededicated ourselves to breaking cycles of generational poverty through workforce development and education, to train San Antonians for higher-paying, in-demand jobs. Economic opportunity, economic mobility, is the American dream, and we will not let it be extinguished. I was criticized fairly heavily for calling an election to dedicate a portion of our sales tax to workforce development and college degree completion in the middle of a pandemic. But I saw a rare opportunity to invest in our people without a tax increase or additional fees. Ultimately, a testament to community. 77% of San Antonio's voters approved the proposition, delivering a clear victory that will allow us to invest nearly $200 million over the next 4 years. Drastically altering the trajectory of tens of thousands of San Antonio's working families. We will not forget them. Leveraging federal dollars, we've already conducted a pilot initiative that has helped over 10,000 residents through the intake process, enrolled 5,500 in training programs, and allowed hundreds to start work in higher-paying healthcare, manufacturing, construction, trades, IT, and business administration careers. And perhaps most importantly, a vast majority of our program's participants are women of color, living at or below the poverty line, the demographic most impacted by the pandemic. Our long-term SA Ready to Work job program, which I hope you get to know more about, is now underway, and I'm confident that it will bring the transformational change that will improve the lives of thousands of San Antonio's disadvantaged families. The struggle for equity is a story of San Antonio, and one that I think will foretell the future of our country and of our democracy. It is my hope that this Unidos US conference will help us all make progress as you examine the major issues facing Latinos, trade ideas for solutions, and engage in the networking that builds the relationships necessary for long-term success. Please enjoy our compassion. Please enjoy our great city. Thank you for coming to San Antonio, and have a wonderful conference.
The pride I have for our San Antonio community begins with its passionate and caring leaders. Many thanks to Mayor Ron for all he has done for our cherished city. The foundation of Unidos US is a rich history that includes dedication to our communities, sacrifice, and the knowledge that together we are stronger. Today, with its nearly 300 member organizations comprising the affiliate network, Unidos US has provided a multitude of opportunities for Latinos across our nation. All this work is accomplished through the foundation built with over 300 building blocks. All of you here today, the Unidos US affiliate network. And now, yes, and now, to lead us in the affiliate roll call, please welcome the Unidos US Board of Directors Chair, Luis Granados, and the Unidos US Chief Operating Officer, Sonia Perez.
Gracias. Bienvenidos. Welcome to all. It is great to be back in person and joining together to elevate our community and celebrate our achievements. And in that vein, before we begin our traditional affiliates roll call, let's take a moment to salute our former president and CEO, the Honorable Raul Izaguirre, who was just this week presented the Medal of Freedom Award by President Biden. This is the highest award given to a civilian.
We're all so very proud of Raul, and I am honored to have worked under his leadership. He is a civil rights pioneer who dedicated his life to fighting for justice and equality for our community. It is through his trailblazing efforts that the Hispanic civil rights movement is the force that it is today. Our congratulations to Raul on this major honor.
It's been 3 years since we last met in person. And yes, as you know, even during the pandemic, Unidos US kept working for our communities. In fact, the pandemic uncovered inequities our Latino community face across this country in employment, healthcare, housing, and other socioeconomic issues. Our communities needed us and our affiliates even more, and all of you stepped up.
Our affiliates are part of a powerful network representing communities from all over the country. Over the next 3 days, we look to each other for inspiration, we seek support from one another, and we bolster each other to return to our communities stronger and more united than ever.
Unidos US exists through our unique combination of research, advocacy programs, and a national affiliate network working together to overcome barriers and advance our community. Adelante.
All right, so now let's offer our traditional salute to the Unidos US affiliates from around the country, and we're dedicating this affiliate roll call to President Emeritus Unidos US, the Honorable Raul Izaguirre. And we'll start with a welcoming shout out to the 43 Unidos US affiliates from the far west. Where are you?
A big round of applause as we welcome the 63 Unidos US affiliates from my home state of California. Bienvenidos.
All right, we heard California, so now a big welcome to our 56 Unidos US affiliates from the Midwest region. We're glad you're here. All right.
Bienvenidos to the 38 Unidos US affiliates from the Northeast region. It is great to see you all.
All right, and welcome to our 54 Unidos US affiliates from the Southeast region. So glad you joined.
And an extra special welcome to our 28 spectacular Unidos US affiliates from the Texas region. It is wonderful to be in your state. Thank you. Bienvenidos a todos. The work you valued affiliates do to educate and empower our communities is invaluable. Muchísimas gracias.
So these next few days are a time to learn from your colleagues, share experiences and solutions, and all the while strengthening the Unidos US affiliate network. Enjoy the conference, disfruten mucho, aprendan mucho, and we look forward to meeting you all.
Thank you, Luis and Sonia. And now, honored guests, welcome, representing our sponsor, Bank of America, the President of Bank of America San Antonio Central West Preferred Lending Region, Executive Ventura Perez III.
To all my fellow Unidos Conference attendees, welcome. On behalf of Bank of America, I am thrilled to join you today. First, I'd like to recognize Board Chair Luis Granados and President and CEO Janet Murguia for their leadership. We are proud to have Janet on our National Community Advisory Council, where she has served for more than a decade. And let's congratulate the entire Unidos team for offering this conference back in person to keep us connected and how we can drive progress for Latinos. The work of Unidos is so important, serving millions of Latinos in the areas of civic engagement, civil rights and immigration, education, workforce and economy, health and housing. Bank of America's relationship with Unidos began back in the 1980s and continues today with Unidos Latinos in Finance program, specifically aimed at bringing more bilingual talent into the financial services role. In fact, last year, we invested more than $1 million to expand the program to 16 markets. And Bank of America, our U.S. workforce is 19% Latino, exceeding industry benchmarks. Our partnerships with Unidos to prepare and employ bilingual talent in our financial centers and their roles is just one small part of our growing Latino business strategy. In fact, over 60% of our financial centers our certified bilingual teammates who can assist our clients in their life priorities in Spanish, en su idioma preferido. We're proud to be the bank of choice for Latino clients and businesses. We serve nearly 12 million Latinos individuals, 1 million of which are business owners. And there are currently over 2.4 active users of our Spanish language mobile banking app. We all have a role to play in helping communities move forward and understanding the forms of foundation of Bank of America's long-standing commitment to investment in our communities that we serve. In fact, we recently announced the launch of a $25 million signature health initiative to advance health outcomes for Black, Hispanic, Latino, Asian American, and Native American communities. This initiative will initially launch in 11 markets, including right here in San Antonio. As a part of this effort, the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Society, and the American Diabetes Association will focus on increasing access to health screenings and preventative care, and advocating for policies to ensure fair opportunities and resources. In fact, the data tells us that the same factors that align with health equity directly connect with economic mobility. Here in San Antonio, we are proud to support Project Quest, which stands for Quality Employment Through Skills Training, a job-focused program that helps residents achieve long-term economic stability. In 2020, 66% of the program's participants were Latino. Bank of America's support lets Quest offer participants 12 months of support that includes career coaching, college education access to succeed in high-demand sectors like technology, manufacturing, and healthcare. Results have been staggering, with a 94% placement rate of graduates. There is still so much momentum and opportunity ahead, and I'm honored to stand alongside you as we work together to advance Latino communities across the United States. Thank you.
Many, many thanks to Mr. Perez and Bank of America for their support. This year, Unidos US salutes a number of affiliates celebrating golden anniversaries, commemorating 5 decades of service to Hispanic communities across the nation. We're proud to present a 50th anniversary milestone salute to 2 network affiliates. 50 years ago, a group of migrant families sought to make Washington County in Oregon their home. They banded together and founded El Centro Cultural de Washington County. The center celebrated their culture and provided needed resources with the goal of creating a prosperous future for families. 5 decades later, their children and grandchildren continue their work, serving on Centro's board of directors, working and volunteering at the Centro. Today, the seeds planted by those migrant families continue to grow. Please welcome the Executive Director of Centro Cultural de Washington County, Maria Caballero Rubio.
Okay, wait for it. Can you hear me now? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would really like to recognize President and CEO Janet Murguia and Board Chair Luis Granados for honoring and supporting the work that we as affiliates do at the ground level every day for our community. As we celebrate our 50th anniversary at Centro, we honor the past, but we plan for the future. We have the rich legacy of farm worker families who established Centro 50 years ago to provide a safe place and to help community. Their mission was to serve the needs of the community. Today, we follow the tradition of service, but we add the goal of providing tools for them to thrive. Unidos Financial Empowerment Network's financial literacy and coaching and the Early Escalera Pipeline to College program can help families begin to build wealth. You know, looking forward to the next 50 years, we have established a $1 million endowment at the Oregon Community Foundation to fund Centro in perpetuity. And we have maintained the Si se puede attitude that reminds us why we do what we do through the words of our civil rights leader and union organizer, Cesar E. Chavez, who said, "Once social change begins, it cannot be reversed. You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. You cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore." Ladies and gentlemen, mi gente, si se puede. Thank you.
Congratulations to Centro Cultural de Washington County on 50 years of service. And now, welcome from Prudential, the Vice President of Nonprofit Capacity and Learning Inclusive Solutions, René Veida.
Buenas tardes, mi gente. I am thrilled to be here today in person once again. Last time we were together in 2019, we experienced the shootings in El Paso, a divisive political landscape, and we had no idea what was coming ahead. A lot has happened since then, but unfortunately, not much has changed. But we're here to talk about, not to talk about the deficits in our communities, but the assets. We're here to celebrate you, our affiliate partners, the Unidos family, led by Janet and Sonia and the rest of the team on board, and all of you for all the amazing work that we've been able to accomplish despite the so many challenges. And that's because we're a resilient community made of resilient people. And I want to share one of those stories of accomplishment and pride. More than 6 years ago, Prudential decided to invest in El Paso. As we looked deeper, we saw the potential of a highly diverse, highly ambitious community. We saw the opportunity to capitalize on the local talent and provide quality job opportunities that will impact generations to come. So we partnered with University of Texas at El Paso to create an actuarial degree program. Why? Because it is a lucrative field, but less than 2% diverse. As the risk management company, we know the importance of actuaries. So in less than 2 years, UTEP had the program up and running. In addition to financial support, we provided input on the curriculum and the supportive services for these young people to enter the field. A field where they don't get to see too many people who look like them. We had some educating to do, so we work with teachers and parents and students to encourage them to follow this path. And our people are smart, and they are not afraid to work hard and take chances. Today we have over 100 students, mainly Latinos and Latinas, enrolled in the risk management program at UTEP. This year was the first graduating class of our 4-year program. And I am honored to introduce to you 2 of those people who are graduating. And on Monday, they will start their careers as actuaries at Prudential, working from home in El Paso. Please help me recognize Damaris Ramirez and Derek Olivas. These two young leaders have had 2 years of internships at Prudential and have passed a combined of 4 actuarial exams, one of them with a perfect score. Damaris and Derek, estamos muy orgullosos de ustedes. Thank you for being an example of the resilience of our community, and thank you for being trailblazers. Thank you all. Enjoy the conference. Siempre adelante.
Congratulations, Damaris and Derek, and many thanks to Prudential. The Unidos US LGBTQ Champion Award is presented to an organization that exemplifies exceptional leadership and a commitment to the LGBTQ+ community. This year's honoree is Mary's Center in our nation's capital. When first founded, Mary's Center focused on prenatal services for women. Over time, the needs of LGBTQ community in that area became apparent, and Mary's Center responded. The center applied its unique social change model to the LGBTQ community, a model which focuses on treating a person's physical health as well as their individual, family, and community needs. With providers who specialize in the physical, emotional, and sexual health of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, and non-binary communities, Mary's Center offers accessible, convenient, and culturally competent care to the LGBTQ community. The center has behavioral health providers who assist children, adolescents, and adults who identify as transgender or gender nonconforming with any emotional, social, or trauma concerns they may have experienced. The center also provides parents with tools on how to support their LGBTQ child. At a moment in history when some of our states are removing services from our LGBTQ community, Mary's Center has stepped up as a provider of specialized services and sometimes just offering a helping hand. Please welcome, representing Mary's Center, mental health therapist, LGBTQ adult and youth, and chair of the LGBTQ+ committee at Mary's Center, Ayla Jericho Westgate.
It's a privilege to accept this award on behalf of Mary's Center. The LGBTQ+ affirming care in this country and here is needed now more than ever. As a therapist that provides life-saving mental health care to my fellow community members, I routinely bear witness to the cascade of consequences resultant from lack of access to affirming whole-person care. And in the same day, I also have the honor of bearing witness to the healing that comes with being seen and valued as one's authentic self. We collectively occupy a moment in which the human rights and freedoms of LGBTQ+ people exist in seemingly infinite precarity. Many of us who serve as providers, as advocates, as healers, are undoubtedly depleted by the uphill battles that consume our days as we attempt to deliver the routine care entitled for every person. I do this work, we do this work, because we are bound by the commitment to justice in care for LGBTQ+ people. I do this work and we do this work because we know that the health disparities that ravage our communities are 100% preventable when we all stand to when we all take a stand in holding people and systems accountable. I feel like it means so much to be here in this moment for people like me to be present here. When we hold people and systems accountable to the prevailing ethical responsibilities to do good for and on behalf of the people that we are entrusted to serve. So thank you again for this esteemed recognition, and thank you too to this expansive community. Sharing this space with each of you confirms my belief that justice and caring for LGBTQ+ people need not be an eternal aspiration, but instead an everyday reality for all our beautiful communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Center, for your exemplary work with our LGBTQ communities. Now, in a few minutes, we'll continue with our program, including the presentation of the Helen Rodriguez Trias Health Award, Unidos US President's Message, as well as welcoming Congressman Joaquin Castro. All of that coming soon. And now, please enjoy your lunch with amigos y amigas, and we'll be right back.
The 2022 Unidos U.S. National Affiliate Luncheon Program will resume in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Our program will begin promptly in 1 minute. Please take your seats. The National Affiliate Luncheon Program will resume in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Our program will begin promptly in 1 minute. Please take your seats. A reminder to silence your cell phones. Thank you.
50 years of progress, action, impact. For 50 years, Unidos US has brought change and opportunity to millions of Latino families. We're determined to continue uplifting and empowering the Latino community by defining the Latino narrative, scaling our programs for maximum impact, and developing the leaders who will carry us forward into the 21st century. But we can't do it without you. So ask yourself, how will you build your legacy? Your investment powers possibility and reaches millions of Latinos through innovative programs, effective and inclusive public policies, and community-based strategies that change lives. A stronger America and a brighter tomorrow starts today, and it starts with you.
The 2022 Unidos U.S. National Affiliate Luncheon, Siempre Adelante, our quest for Latino equity, now continues with Unidos U.S. President and CEO Janet Murguía, U.S. Representative Joaquin Castro, awards presentations to Mary Center, and affiliate 50th anniversary milestone salute to El Centro de la Raza. This program is proudly sponsored by Bank of America, Prudential, Target, Toyota, and Walmart. And now, please welcome back your host, KENS 5 News anchor, Isidro Mero.
Hello again, and welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed this time with friends and colleagues. Wasn't that a fabulous meal? Yes? Please give a special thanks to all of our wait staff for delivering such a delicious lunch created by the excellent chefs here at the Grand Hyatt. We are all grateful for this time together. We know what it takes to travel during this new normal, and thank you all for making the extra effort to be here today. Let's take a few moments to welcome a few good friends. Please join me in recognizing these special guests today. Unidos US Board of Directors, please stand so we can acknowledge you. Former Unidos US board members, please stand. Our former board chairs, will you please stand? Gil Vasquez, Tony Salazar, Jose Villarreal, Jorge Plasencia, Renata Soto. And Affiliate Council, please stand so we can salute you. Again, thank you all so much for being here today. Unidos US is grateful to their many donors who have joined us today. Support from individuals such as you makes their work possible. When you donate to Unidos US, you give Latinos an equal chance to succeed. Please go to the Unidos US conference app and make your gift today. Y gracias. And now, representing Target, one of my favorite places, the Executive Vice President and Chief External Engagement Officer at Target. Please welcome Laisha Ward.
Thank you, and good afternoon. On behalf of the Target team, including the members of the local team who are here with me today, shout out to them. Please stand up so you can be recognized. I want to take a moment to also thank Unidos US President and CEO Janet Murguia, Board Chair Luis Granados, former Unidos US Board Chair and current Target Board member, and our lead director, I might add, Monica Lozano. We are coming together to tackle the issues that impact Latinos in this country. Issues like housing, healthcare, civil rights and racial equity, education, economic opportunity, and more. As I was preparing for this very brief welcome, I was struck by the fact that not more than 2 weeks ago, right here in San Antonio, more than 50 of our brothers, sisters, and children were found dead in the back of a truck. Again. I'm blessed to have the life that I have. And we have to do all that we can to ensure that others have blessings as well. Now, originally, I had hoped that Isaac Reyes, a talented Latino SVP at Target, who I mentor and sponsor, would be here to deliver these remarks. But with his delayed and canceled flight, he wasn't allowed to be here today. But I'd still like to share just a portion of his story. Isaac came from the fields in Watsonville, California. His grandmother was deported multiple times. She worked as a housekeeper and in the fields. Isaac's father picked lettuce and strawberries. His mother and the rest of his family did too. So as Isaac and I talked about this recent horrific tragedy, it was very, very personal for him and for me. So let's continue to dive into the important issues facing our communities and our families. But let's also demand more from our leaders. Throughout the pandemic, we heard a lot about essential workers, right? And the image that was often shown was someone in a store, which is very true. Target workers are essential workers, and we're really grateful for all that they do. Or in a hospital. But we also know that essential workers include workers in our fields and in our factories. And so I'm humbled to be here with all of you, knowing that you are doing the work, the important work that will keep these workers, these issues, these stories, these families, our families, at the forefront. I'm proud that Target is leaning in, providing resources and helping amazing partners like Janet and the Unidos US team and all of the incredible work that you as affiliates are doing all across this country every single day. We see you, we value you, we respect you, we need you. You're doing what is required to ensure that all children and all families are treated with dignity and respect and have the opportunity that they deserve. So once again, on behalf of the entire Target team, including the nearly 30% of our team who's Latino, we are very grateful to be in community with you. We appreciate the leadership that you are providing, and leaders in our community, leaders in this room who are using your influence and your leadership to make a real difference. So thank you, and have an incredible conference, and we look forward to doing this great work with you in your communities across the country every day. God bless.
Thank you so much, Leisha. And now, friends and family, with the President's message, Unidos US President and CEO, Janet Murguia.
Good afternoon. As you may have noticed, I'm not with you in person today. This pandemic has affected millions of people in our community and our country, and today I'm no exception. A couple of weeks ago, I tested positive for COVID, and just this week, tested positive again. We're following CDC protocols, and I will remain in DC until I test negative. I hope that I will be able to join you in person as soon as it's safe. But in the meantime, I truly appreciate your understanding and support. So welcome again to the 2022 Unidos US Conference. It's a blessing to be together again, and I can think of no better city for our reunion than San Antonio. I want to thank everyone in this community, from the mayor on down, for giving us such a warm welcome. As happy as we are to be together, our celebration is tempered by our grief over the tragic shooting in Uvalde. As I mentioned in the opening, I recently visited there. I can attest that the impact of their loss will be felt for a generation. I wish I could say that it is the only time I've grieved with the families of shooting victims. It's not. Just 3 years ago, on the first day of our conference in El Paso, a gunman entered a Walmart there with a semi-automatic weapon and killed 22 people and injured another 24. 3 years earlier, before our conference in Orlando, a 29-year-old man entered a gay nightclub and killed 49 people and injured another 53, the vast majority of whom were Hispanic. It's time to acknowledge that the toll of gun violence on our community has been too high for too long. While it's heartening to see bipartisanship in the recent legislation passed by Congress, we believe it's only the start of a solution. Now, I respect that people may have a difference of opinion when it comes to guns, even in Texas, but when you look into the faces of parents whose children have been shot, when you see the pain in their eyes and you share in their grief, you know there has to be a way for us to do better. We live in a dangerous time. Hate, bigotry, and extremism are on the rise. The shooter in El Paso, the gunman in Buffalo who killed 10 African Americans, and the shooter at a synagogue in Pittsburgh all cited a violent conspiracy theory used by white nationalists. Their so-called replacement theory states white people face extinction at the hands of people of color. This same theory was shouted aloud in the streets of Charlottesville. It's been voiced on Fox News and echoed by extremist candidates across the country. And now, in the shadow of that threat, they're coming for our rights as Americans. Under the guise of making America great again, they've already taken away women's reproductive and health rights. They're trying to limit our voting rights, and they're making plans to eliminate most rights of LGBTQ plus people. Here in Texas, the governor recently announced he's trying to do away with the Supreme Court mandate that every child, including undocumented children, receive an education. They believe the lie that America can only be great if they turn back the clock to a better time. What they don't acknowledge is that it might have been a better time for them, but it certainly wasn't a better time for us. It wasn't better for women. It wasn't better for the LGBTQ community, and it wasn't better for Black Americans. Now, I'm proud to be an American. There are moments in our nation's history that I cherish, and I loved growing up in Kansas. I believe we can make America great. But we must acknowledge that for much of our history, society marginalized many communities, including Hispanics. We were never seen as full Americans. We were prevented from voting and serving on juries. Like other people of color, we were lynched just for being Latino. Most of our children went to separate and segregated schools. We were deported even though we were American citizens. It's taken a century of struggle by the Mexican American, Puerto Rican, and other Hispanic communities to gain our rights as citizens. I'm proud to acknowledge one of those individuals whose life in service to our community helped usher in a dramatic rise in our social, economic, and political power. 2 days ago in the White House, my predecessor, Raul Izaguirre, was awarded the nation's highest civilian award by President Biden, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It is an incredible honor for a life dedicated to the betterment of our community and our country. Too many have given too much to achieve our rights for us to let them be taken away. We must rise up to take their place and resist the attack on our rights and persist in the pursuit of our freedom and equality. The most powerful tool in our arsenal is our vote, but only if we turn out. It is imperative that you, your family, and your neighbors turn out for every vote in every election at the federal, state, and local level. We must vote. To help, Unidos US is partnering with Mi Familia Vota to turbocharge our turnout come election day. We are putting together the most extensive multi-state Latino field organization in the country. But to confront a lie this big, we also must do a better job of telling the truth of our own story. For too long, others have defined us. For too long, they have painted us as outsiders, or worse, made us invisible. We need to define ourselves. We must tell our story so that it resonates with all Americans and becomes a part of our collective memory. It affects how others see us, how we see ourselves, how our children are taught in school, and what they see on television and film and on social media. Creating a narrative for our community is central to our success and an integral part of Unidos US's work going forward. I'm proud to say that we recently achieved a significant milestone in this effort by winning congressional approval for putting the National Museum of the American Latino on the National Mall. The museum will serve as a cornerstone for our efforts to educate the nation about our history, our struggle for freedom, and our contributions to this country. The challenges before us are plain to see. The only question is, will we rise to meet them? Can we end gun violence and protect our communities and our children? Can we beat back the voices of bigotry and hate and protect our rights as Americans? Can we dispel their lies and proclaim the truth of our history? I believe we can, because I believe in us. Look around this room and you will see evidence of our resiliency as a community. You will see knowledge, experience, and strength of character. You will see the promise of our young people and the hope they offer for our country's future. We are a force for good, and united Unidos, there is little we cannot achieve. Adelante, siempre adelante.
I'm Hispanic. My Spanish is not the best.
I'm Latina, but I've never been to Latin America.
I'm Latino, despite being fourth generation in this country.
I am Latino, but most of my friends aren't.
I am Latina, even if my last name doesn't sound like it.
I am Latino, even if some don't think I look it.
Today, there is no one way of defining our identity.
But there is one way of defining how to become stronger.
Being unidos.
Because unidos, we can create more and better opportunities for all of us.
Let's come together and show the power of being unidos.
Únete a nosotros.
Join us. Unidos.
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 Unidos US, the largest Latino civil rights organization in the United States. Join us.
Thank you, Janet, for continuing to elevate and engage our communities across the country. Welcome, representing Toyota, the Group Vice President of North American Truck Manufacturing and President of Toyota Motor Manufacturing Texas, Kevin Volkel.
Well, good afternoon. First and foremost, my congratulations to Janet and her staff on the incredible work you've accomplished with this conference. On behalf of Toyota Motor North America, welcome Unidos US members and distinguished guests to San Antonio. It's an honor for us to host all of you this weekend. Toyota has been a part of the cultural fabric in the US for more than 60 years, with a $34 billion direct investment in these United States. The great state of Texas is home to our North American headquarters and Toyota Texas, where we have proudly built the Tundra for nearly 20 years. In San Antonio, our 3,400 employees, of which 69% are Latino, are building the durable and reliable trucks Toyota is known for. In a few weeks, we will begin production of the all-new 2023 Sequoia SUV, which is a first for the San Antonio plant. We are immensely proud of our workforce, and we recognize the success of our company begins with our employees. That gratitude extends to another 4,000 people who are employed by our more than 20 on-site suppliers. It was here in San Antonio where Toyota first began to integrate suppliers directly onto its campuses. Our great success story from our on-site suppliers is our 5 compadres. These are 5 business leaders selected for their prominence and business acumen to become Tier 1 suppliers to manufacture truck parts exclusively for Toyota. Each compadre is developing their respective successor within their family, and many have grown additional Toyota partnerships as suppliers for our plant in Guanajuato, Mexico. Representing our compadres today are Frank Herrera, President and Chairman, Hero Logistics and Hero Assemblers, and Toyota's first Latina Tier 1 supplier, Rosa Santana, CEO of Forma Automotive. Toyota values our relationships, and we are proud of our long-standing partnership with Unidos US, and very excited about a new initiatives, Latinos in Automotive. Through this program, we look to make generational change by creating opportunities for job growth. Together with the Toyota Technical Education Network, the goal is to address an industry-wide challenge of trained technicians by introducing more people to career opportunities in the automotive industry. Collaboratively, we worked with Unidos US to develop a 10-hour training module designed specifically for Latinos to enhance interpersonal and professional skills for workplace success. In closing, we've seen repeatedly that collaboration with partners successfully uplifts our shared communities. That's why we're proud to say, vayamos juntos. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Vocal. Before we continue, we'd like to extend our welcome to former board chair Ramon Murguia. Our next 50th anniversary milestone salute is presented to Seattle's El Centro de la Raza. Five decades ago, Roberto Maestas and 3 other Chicano activists wanted a home where people in need could get resources. They posed as potential buyers for the vacant Beacon Hill School and peacefully took over the vacant schoolhouse, where now, 50 years later, valuable educational, health, and other resources to the Seattle community are still provided. Today, the organization is led by the executive director, Estela Ortega. And on the staff is Roberto Maestas' nephew, Miguel Maestas. De tal palo, tal astilla. Community service runs in the family. Please welcome the Housing and Economic Development Director from El Centro de la Raza, Miguel Maestas.
Hermanas y hermanos, on behalf of El Centro de la Raza, the Center for People of All Races in Seattle, Washington, gracias Unidos US and President and CEO Janet Murguia and Board Chair Luis Granados for the opportunity to share a few words in recognition of our 50th anniversary. Our Executive Director Estela Ortega, a native Tejana by the way, was not able to be with us, so she sends her love and greetings. I am honored and fortunate to represent 50 years of struggle, work, sacrifice, love, and a tireless commitment by so many people carried out at El Centro over the past half-century. El Centro began with a peaceful occupation of an abandoned school building in 1972. The powers that be at the time did not respond to the needs of our community, and we would be ignored and no more. The lead organizer of that 3-month occupation, the late Roberto Maestas, originally from northern New Mexico and executive director of El Centro for 37 years, helped lead a multiracial movement that successfully won the use of the building. That multiracial movement has forever changed Seattle and our region. El Centro will always be grateful to the Black community, Native American and Pacific Islander communities, and white allies who stood with our founders during that occupation. We owe a debt that can never fully be repaid. El Centro now owns that building, now on the National Registry of Historic Places. We have written a textbook documenting our history as well. El Centro has 43 programs, including human and emergency services, child and youth services, housing and economic development, education and asset building, cultural events, and community advocacy and organizing. Over the last 5 decades, El Centro has become an institution in the Seattle area, recognized for its critical role in addressing the needs and issues of our growing community. We need strong institutions across our country to build assets for our communities for the generations to come. We are so pleased to be part of that effort with all of you and all of the organizations represented here today. In closing, we will work to ensure that El Centro de la Raza continues to grow and that we do everything in our power to defend, serve, and build our beloved community for the next 50 years and beyond. Mil gracias.
Congratulations on 50 years of excellence to El Centro de la Raza. And now from Walmart, welcome the Vice President of Stationery, Ana Fernanda Erguello Guerrero.
Buenas tardes, mis amigos. Buenos días, raza. ¿Cómo están? No los oigo. Bien. Like everyone else, I am beyond excited to be here in person. After 2 years of a lot of Zoom and virtual conferences, it's great to be here. Those 2 years, Unidos, it was nothing virtual about it, about the essential work that Unidos performed, not at the national level by Janet Burguia and her leadership team, and certainly not at the community level by this incredible network of almost 300 affiliates. The vital issues that you're dealing with could not be put hold while we were in COVID. And it is a very special opportunity for me to be here at the National Affiliate Luncheon as part of the Walmart family. We have had opportunities to work closely with Unidos US and its affiliates for years, and it has been incredibly energizing because it is the affiliates who take the policies and priorities of Unidos US and shape them into action. And it directly touches the lives of 62 million Latinos in the US. As a proud Latina and a member of this big and diverse community, I am personally grateful for what you do, and even more important, how you do it. From the beginning, this organization has looked to its affiliates not just to implement policy and programs, but to create them. And over the years, Unidos US and Walmart have created a strong and growing partnership based on shared goals and values. And today, we share the ambitious goal of bringing racial equity to America. Not a small goal. This is an imperative goal, and it's the right thing to do. There are many routes to that destination, none of them easy. But we need to help people from other traditions, and even Latinos, to understand who we are, to understand our traditions, our history, our contributions to this amazing country. And that is precisely the mission of the America's newest museum, the Museum of the American Latino. Now under construction in Washington, D.C., last month Walmart became a founding donor with a $5 million contribution. The center is part of our expanded effort to overcome the scourge of systemic racism and build on the promise of racial equity through targeted philanthropy and through our business operations. Pursuing that agenda means working closer than ever with our nonprofit partners. So, when I look to the future, I look forward to what Walmart and Unidos US can accomplish together. Much to be done, but as long as we do it unidos, siempre vamos a ir para adelante. Muchas gracias.
Many thanks to Ana Fernanda and Walmart, and to all of today's sponsors for their continued support. The Helen Rodriguez Trias Health Award, presented by Johnson & Johnson, is awarded to an affiliate that showed exemplary dedication to address health issues during the pandemic. This year's honoree is the Mexican American Council, located in Homestead, Florida. With over 30 years of service, the Mexican American Council, known as MAC, is a well-respected advocate of community issues and an agent of positive change dedicated to advancing the living standards of the farm worker community and youth. MAC has focused on breaking the cycle of poverty through education, arts, and civic engagement. However, when COVID-19 began affecting the communities of low-income Spanish-speaking migrant farm workers and their U.S.-born children, MAC partnered with Unidos US to launch a vaccination awareness campaign. Esperanza, Hope for All, aimed to build confidence in the safety and efficacy of COVID vaccines among the Latino community. This innovative educational campaign addressed misinformation and created partnerships with local health organizations to ensure the community had equitable access to vaccinations. The effort included bringing COVID-19 vaccine information directly to hard-to-reach individuals and families living in rural and remote communities, addressing social determinants of health in local communities, and advancing health equity through partnerships. Representing the Mexican American Council, welcome the organization's president and CEO, Edward Garza.
Good afternoon. My name is Eddie Garza with MAC, the Mexican American Council, and on behalf of the farm worker families we serve, thank you for this special designation. To our fearless leader, Janet Murguia, thank you. To the Unidos US board and to our board chair, Mr. Granados, and to the dedicated staff at Unidos, your guidance and support empowered us to create an adult vaccination infrastructure that combated disinformation and created access points in the heart of our farm worker community. And I know that together, we saved thousands of lives. I'd also like to thank our community partners because we did not do this work alone. Baptist Health South Florida, CHI, Community Health Incorporated of South Florida, and Miami-Dade College Medical Campus, especially Dr. Dadilia Garces, who was with us every step of the way as a community advocate for this very impactful campaign. And finally, I'd like to thank my staff. The Team MAC is in the house, our board of directors. Thank you all. And I'd like to thank all of you, all of our affiliates, because Unidos, we are making a difference, protecting our communities, and moving the needle for Latinos in this country. Thank you. Gracias.
Felicitaciones al Mexican American Council. Yes. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome our next speaker, truly one of our fair city's most favorite sons. Born and raised in San Antonio, Joaquin Castro and his twin brother, Julian, followed their activist parents into public service and have dedicated their lives to elevating the Hispanic community. Joaquin Castro began his public service career, having been elected to the Texas House of Representatives and served 5 terms. Currently in his 5th term, representing the state's 20th congressional district in the United States House of Representatives, he serves on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, the House Education and Labor Committee, the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and as chair of the Texas Democratic Caucus. And understanding the need for our community to be represented in all media, Congressman Castro has been a strong voice in encouraging Hollywood to present realistic Hispanic American images in movies and television. Multi-talented, the congressman just appeared in Cristela Alonso's new Netflix stand-up comedy as her opening act. Join me in welcoming the Honorable Joaquin Castro.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. How are y'all doing? And welcome to San Antonio. I want you to know, for those of you that have a good time tonight, that the river is only about 3 feet deep in case you have too many margaritas. Welcome back to Unidos that was last here in 2010. And also a big thank you to Janet, to Clarissa, to everybody at Unidos, a mostly Latina-led organization that is doing incredible work on behalf of our community. And speaking of Latinas, I would be remiss as a son if I didn't recognize my mom, Rosie Castro, who's out here with us tonight, who I know is going to get a recognition on Monday, and hopefully I'll be back here for that. And also, of course, it was mentioned earlier, but it can't be mentioned enough, the pioneering work and the final recognition for Raul Izaguirre, who led this organization for so many years. Raul, so cherished by our community. And also in the same ceremony, the first Latina to lead a college or university in the United States in Julieta Garcia out of the University of Texas at Brownsville. I think all of us sense that for the Latino community and for America, for our country, these are challenging times. I think all of us feel that. But before I speak to that, I want us to take a moment and celebrate as a community some of our successes and how far we've come, and reflect in our own lives and the stories of our families what that journey has looked like. I want to tell you for a second what it looked like for my family. My grandmother came here 100 years ago this year in 1922. She came as a 6 or 7-year-old orphan from Coahuila, Mexico. My grandmother came to this country not because she chose to, but because both of her parents died during the time of the Mexican Revolution, and the closest relatives that could take her in were not in northern Mexico, but were in San Antonio. And when my grandmother came to San Antonio, there were still in some establishments signs like the ones you saw earlier that read, "No dogs, Negroes, or Mexicans allowed." 100 years ago. And it's fitting that Unidos, founded in 1968 under a different banner, but founded in 1968, has worked so hard, but not alone, with incredible partner civil rights organizations fighting for the Latino community across the country. You all may or may not know this, but you're in a very special place when we talk about the Latino community. In many ways, and I'm partial, of course, I know perhaps people in New York or Los Angeles or somewhere else might argue with me, but I like to say that this is the cradle of where social justice started for our community. When my grandmother came here, not only did those signs hang up, but soldiers who were returning from war later on in the 20s were still discriminated against. It was illegal to speak Spanish in school, and you were punished if you did. But the people of that generation and later generations didn't sit still, didn't give up to cynicism, didn't surrender to cynicism. They organized, and they educated, and they voted. And so some of the most powerful civil rights organizations were born in San Antonio and in South Texas. LULAC was born in 1929 in Corpus Christi. LULAC has been a wonderful partner with Unidos and so many of all the organizations over the years. MALDEF, the Mexican American Legal Defense and Education Fund, was founded in San Antonio, Texas, decades ago. When we think about the education of our children and making sure that everybody has a chance to pursue their American dream, I can't think of a more fitting organization that has pursued that mission than HACU, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, which was founded in the 1980s here in San Antonio. And when we think about how abused immigrants and asylum seekers have been in the last several years in particular, I can't help but think of the incredible work that Raíces has done. It was founded here in San Antonio, Texas as well. So this is a very special city, and it's emblematic of the challenges that we faced over the years, not only in one area of American life, but in many areas. And I think it's appropriate now to remind ourselves of what our grandmothers and grandfathers, our fathers and our mothers faced, but also the challenges that they took on. Because right now, Our democracy, I believe, is at a crossroads. There are folks that are trying to undo our very democratic core of this country. And there is no greater group of people than vulnerable people. The African American community, the Latino community, the Asian American community that's been the victim of hate crimes that have spiked in the last few years, the LGBTQ plus community, vulnerable communities that bear the weight of that undoing or the attempted undoing. And so we have a choice. We can either surrender to cynicism, we can follow the people that say voting doesn't matter, that we should give up, that there is no difference among the people and the candidates and the parties to choose from, or we can do what people in San Antonio, in South Texas, in Los Angeles, in New York, in Miami, in Chicago, and so many other places have done throughout the years. We can get together and we can organize and we can fight harder and we can vote and we can educate and we can win together. And y'all know that there is plenty of work to do, a lot of work to do, and a lot of it is heartbreaking work. About a month ago, I had a chance to visit with some of the parents whose children were killed in Uvalde, Texas, at Robb Elementary, by a madman who killed more than 20 people in a city that's more than 80% Latino. Less than 2 weeks ago, I visited at their hospital beds a few of the human beings who suffered, many who died in the back of that tractor trailer here in my district in San Antonio. These issues that we see debated on CNN or MSNBC or Fox or whatever channel it may be, those issues often affect our community in grave ways. When I think of the fight over women's right to choose and their ability to make decisions, healthcare decisions about their own body, I can't help but think of the Latina who a few months ago was charged with a crime for a self-induced abortion. Oftentimes, this community sees those challenges first. And so we have to be vigilant, but we have to make sure that we fight on. And that's why it's great to see this packed ballroom of people led by Unidos, but made up of a lot of different partners and affiliates, people young and old who continue in this struggle and in this fight. I know that with a lot of work, but also by coming together, we can take on these challenges. We can make sure that this nation that we love, this country that we love, that we have worked hard over the years to build up even stronger. We have worked hard to build up this democracy, not to tear it down, as some have claimed. We have not been invaders to the United States. We have been godsends to the United States. And so please, my plea to you is do every single thing that you can to make sure that you join Unidos in this fight, that you join all of us in this fight, that you hold elected officials accountable, that you engage in the most fundamental thing, the thing that my grandmother, the thing that my mother, the thing that my father, and I know so many of your families fought for so long, to have a strong place in our democracy. May God bless y'all. Enjoy San Antonio.
Thank you, Congressman Castro, for all you have done for our community. Amigos y amigas, this concludes the National Affiliate Luncheon. I had a wonderful time sharing the afternoon with you all as we celebrated and honored the Latinos in our country who make our communities stronger with their actions and talents. Thank you for inviting me to share this time with you. Just a quick reminder before you go, tomorrow's Latinas Luncheon will include former Texas State Senator Leticia Van de Putte, White House Advisor Julie Chavez Rodriguez, and Oscar Award-winning producer of the movie Encanto, Yvette Merino. All that tomorrow. at the Latinas Luncheon right here in the Texas Ballroom. And be sure to attend this afternoon's plenary, Weaving the Latino Narrative in the American Story. That begins at 3 o'clock in the Lone Star Ballroom D with Congressman Joaquin Castro. Again, it has been my pleasure to have joined you today. Thank you so much, and enjoy San Antonio and the conference.